Hello everybody, it's me, Heather, and today I thought it would be fun to do an entire face of the day. Obviously I'm going to be using my personal products, but I also wanted to showcase the Kylie A Nightmare on Elm Street collection. If you're not familiar, here's the entire collection. There's an eyeshadow palette. There are three lip lacquers. This is my favorite product. This is the Lip and Cheek Jelly Stain. And there is a pair of lashes. So I'm going to use all of those products today, plus all the products I normally use when I'm creating any kind of makeup look. And I thought it'd be fun to just go through the whole shebang. So start to finish, here we go. So I always cleanse and moisturize my face, but it's been a while since I moisturized, since this morning. So I like to start off with, this is a new thing I've started doing, is now I use like a calming makeup fixing spray. So any kind of face mist, something like this. This one's from Revolution, Makeup Revolution. This is calming makeup fixing spray with cannabis sativa seed oil. It just puts a little bit of moisture into the face, and then I like to follow up with a moisturizer, because the more you prep your skin before you do a makeup look, the better it always turns out. So just a light misting of that. Then I like to follow up with just a nice lightweight moisturizer. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I've been using this one a lot with makeup looks, and you can see it, a little goes a long way. This is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Water Gel Moisturizer. Just a nice water-based moisturizer. And I do find it's good to give it a shake before you use it. Sometimes it does kind of because it's water-based, sometimes it does kind of separate, and you'll squirt out and it's just fully liquid. So I want a little bit of that jelly texture, and I usually do just about 3 drops there, and just rub that in. I really get under my eyes too. Really get that under eye area moisturized. Depending on what moisturizer you're using, you might not want to put it that close to under your eyes. Just depends on what it is. But this one I found works really good for that. So just kind of smooth that on, press it into my skin a little bit. And if you can let it sit for a moment, that's good. But we're on a time crunch here because we're doing a face of the day, so I don't want to keep you waiting too long. This is my new Holy Grail favorite primer. This is the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat Blur Primer. If it sounded like I just garbled a bunch of words, I did. I can't speak French. You only need 1 pump, but I always like to be a little gluttonous with my portions. I will put a link to everything in my description box, so if at any time you're just like, what did she say? What is that? You can just go to the description box, and I'll have everything listed in the order that I did actually use it to make things easier. But I love this primer. If you read up on the ingredient list, it actually has 4 different oils in it that are just great for the skin. And since I have naturally enlarged pores around my cheek area, I've always had it. I always really benefit from using a primer to really make my makeup looks look smoother, go on nicely. All right, so there's that. So now I'm gonna move on to, I know a lot of people like to do their eyes first when they do makeup. I hate doing my eyes first. It just doesn't allow me to I just feel like my makeup looks never come out as well if I start by doing my eyes first. So I do like to do my entire foundation first, and then eyes, cheeks, lips, finish with powder if I want powder, that kind of thing. So I find that just works best for me if I use that technique. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my face first. I'm gonna be using Milk Makeup for my foundation today. I've got a couple of products from them that I like to use. So I love starting with this. This is the Sunshine Skin Tint. I wear the shade Golden Honey. I like it because it has SPF 30 in it. It's really lightweight, and this is just a nice way to incorporate some sunscreen into my makeup look. And a lot of people don't like the applicator. I actually really like it. I'm a sucker for packaging, and I really like the applicators on this. Sometimes they do take a while to get started. So I'm just applying this, just wiping off the excess on the thing. And this is just a nice way to get some sunscreen into my makeup. Now throughout this makeup look, I will be getting makeup in my hairline. It's bound to happen and it's going to be really noticeable since I'm very, very blonde right now. So at the end of any makeup look, I always just go through with a makeup eraser or a makeup wipe or a washcloth and I just clean that up. So I will do that towards the end. So don't worry. I'm going to have foundation, blush, bronzer, and powder all in my hairline, but we'll get it all out at the end of the video. I don't want to keep going through and removing it because it's just, makeup's going to keep ending up there. So it's just best to wait until I'm done. Okay, so that was the first item, was the Milk Makeup Sunshine Skin Tint in Golden Honey. And then the next thing, this is a new product that they've come out with that I really like. This is the, get the name for you, Sunshine Under Eye Tint and Brighten. And this is just really moisturizing, just an under eye brightener. It's not a concealer, but just a nice brightener. And this is in the shade number 3. So it also has a little roller ball. So I just do like one pump and I go pretty generously. I'm going to do it on my lid, under my eye, and just bring a line out like that. Go under this eye, on my lid. And I don't need to pump out more product. I can just go back and pick up more product from my other eye. And then I'm gonna blend it out with a little makeup sponge. You can use your finger too, but I'm gonna go ahead and just use a makeup sponge to really get in the corners. And I'm gonna go ahead and even just go across right here because why not? So I'm doing that. Taking just a little makeup sponge and getting in there. Isn't that nice? It really does instantly brighten. It's very nice and lightweight. It's really hydrating. I really like that product. Okay, so now I'm going to actually go in with my actual foundation. This is the Milk Makeup Matte Foundation, and this is the shade, I think it's Golden Honey. It looks like the name got rubbed off or came off. No, it's just so small I couldn't see it. This is the shade Golden Honey. So I also use that. This stuff is super pigmented. You don't need a lot at all. You need like just a little drop. But I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of a generous amount. I'm just taking a makeup sponge, in this case a beauty blender, and we're just gonna apply that all over. Something I've recently started doing again is I've started applying foundation on my lids again, like concealer, foundation. I've started applying foundation and concealer on my actual eyelids again, because I actually saw a YouTube video recently where someone was applying their foundation to their lids and they were applying their concealer to their lids. And I realized, I was like, you know what? I used to do that all the time too. And, you know, I'm not that old, but I'm old enough that when I first started wearing makeup, you know, a lot of the techniques that we use now that are commonplace were not commonplace. For example, we didn't have eyeshadow primer. That just was not a thing. And we also didn't have skin primer. So instead of primer, you know, because it just didn't exist at the time. So I mean, like when Smashbox came out with their skin primer, that was like revolutionary, you know, using these silicones, these skin safe, I hope they're skin safe silicones and makeup products to fill in pores and give you a more even palette to work with was huge at the time. And so back then we didn't have primer, so we would use moisturizer. And when it came to priming the eyelids for makeup, you would put on foundation, and most of the times concealer wasn't even the right thing. You would just pile on more foundation, or you would use a different shade of foundation to get a concealing effect. So what you do is after you apply all the foundation, you would apply powder, and that's how you would prime your lids for eyeshadow looks. So it's interesting how things have changed, but I thought, you know, I'm going to bring that back. I'm going to start using this technique again because I have so much discoloration in my lids naturally, which is fine. You know, you have veins and stuff in there and your eyelids are moving all the time. They get a lot of sunlight. It's normal for them not to be the same color as the rest of your face. But I was like, I'm going to start doing that again. So this is my foundation, and I'm actually going to start doing my eyes now. So I am actually debating if I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows to help frame my face. I think I'll go ahead and do my eyebrows to help frame my face, and that'll help me frame the eyeshadow look that I want to create. And I just realized that I forgot my setting powder, so I'm going to go grab that right now. Okay, I'm back, and just as I said before, I'm going to do it old school. Instead of using an eyeshadow primer, I'm just going to use, in this case, I'm using concealer and foundation on my eyelids. And I'm going to go ahead and work out these creases really quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and powder my eyes. And that's going to be my base for my eyeshadow look. So I'm actually using my Ellis Foss Glow Down pressed powder in the shade medium. So looks very light on camera, I'm sure. And I'm just taking one of these little puffs. I believe this one's from Real Techniques, where it's angled. It has kind of a velvety texture to it, and it's made specifically for picking up powder, and you can see it picks up a ton of powder. So I'm just going to go right in under my eyes and all over my eyelid. And oh yeah, that's it. That's going to be a perfect foundation for doing my eye look. So I'm actually kind of excited. So I'm actually just going to go all the way around, all the way up to my brow bone, up to my eyebrow. And I don't want to powder my entire face yet because I still want to use the lip and cheek jelly stain. And I think that works best on moist skin. So that's a little dry now because I got some powder there. But when I get to that part, I'll make sure that I just freshen my foundation on my cheek area for the cheek stain. Okay, so I'm really happy with that so far. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows. I'm gonna use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade. I'm gonna use the shade Taupe, and this one's well used, well loved, and also a little bit gross. I won't lie. The product itself is not gross. I'm just thinking, I think I need to buy a new one, because this one's getting a little dry, getting a little more difficult to work with. And now that I'm thinking about it, I've had it for a good bit. So it's probably time for me to replace that. I kind of want to just repurchase it because I've been using it for so long and I really like it, you know, tried and true. But at the same time, I love to try new stuff, and I still haven't tried Benefit's new brow pomade that they came out with. So there's that. You know, nowadays we are so spoiled by choice. It gets a little difficult at times to decide what to use, right? All right, so I'm just going to go in with an angled brush. Might need to change brushes. I think this one's also on its last leg. I'm actually going to use a different brush. This one looks like it's just worn out, to be honest. I don't think it's going to give me the shape that I want when I'm creating my brows. So let me get a different brush. Here we go. Here we go. This one's much more fresh. I think this will be a better use. Okay. Oh, there we go. A really thin, small angled brush so I don't get too crazy with my brows. Yeah, the whole fluffy brow look, I like it, but I just don't have the brows for it, and I'm not the kind of person, I don't want to spend 20 minutes drawing my brows on, you know? I like makeup, but come on. Okay, so whenever you find yourself starting to struggle with getting your brows even, remember they are sisters, not twins. So no human being is perfectly symmetrical, so if your brows are a little off, but as long as they're in the same family, you're okay. And as I mentioned before, yeah, I definitely officially need to replace this, because before I would get like a really clean line, and now it's starting to clump and it's going on unevenly, and I'm really having to work the product. So that's just a sign that I need to buy a new one. I've used it so many times, and just, even though there's a ton of product left, it's just starting to dry out. And of course there are ways of reviving the product and what have you, but honestly, I would just rather get a new one. I mean, if you've had it for 6 months or a year, I think it's time to get a new one. So, and I have definitely had it for over a year, so I'm definitely overdue. So do as I say and not as I do, please. Unless you want to spend half an hour trying to fix your brows. So we'll go ahead and comb that out a little just to soften the product a little. But yeah, I'm seeing like little clumps and unevenness, and that's okay. And I also need to tweeze my brows again. Like, I thought I was pretty on top of it, but now there's just like all the little tiny hairs that upon close inspection or grabbing product, and that kind of messes up the shape. But let's move on. So finally, we are at the point of doing some eyeshadow. So I'm excited about them. Just smoothing out some of the folds under my eyes. All right, so we're gonna start with the Kylie A Nightmare on Elm Street eyeshadow palette. When I saw the reveal for this collection, I was so excited. I'm not a Kylie Jenner fan. I've never been interested in her makeup. Nothing against her or her brand personally, it just never appealed to me. But she really nailed it with the whole Nightmare on Elm Street theme. Look, even the inside of the packaging has Freddy Krueger's burnt skin, basically. And I was just like, okay, this is really cool. So I like the eyeshadow palette. I have not really played with these. I did swatch them for myself, but here's the color story so you can get a good look at that. And I think it's a good mix of colors. I think it's pretty on theme for Nightmare on Elm Street. I like it. You got a bunch of neutrals, and then you have the red and the green, which obviously represents Freddy Krueger's sweater that he always wears. And, you know, you got shimmers, you got mattes, so I think we can create a really fun look with this. All right, Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. All right, let's just dig in. I'm going to start with, am I gonna start with this one? Or do I want this one? Decisions. I'm gonna start with this one. This is the shade I'll Be Your Nightmare, and it's kind of a, I guess it's kind of a rose gold tone. Not quite, because I'm not a big fan of rose gold tones. If you've been on my channel long enough, I've probably said it many times. But I think this shade will be all right. So I'm just going to take a slightly fluffy, there we go, just a slightly medium shader eyeshadow brush. I'm going to take this shade, I'll Be Your Nightmare. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. Well, now I just saw this one. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, actually, I want to use this one, actually. I'm sorry. Okay, that was dumb. Let me use this one. Sorry, I haven't played with this shadow yet, guys, so I haven't even really thought out the look. I'm doing it on the fly. So if I seem disorganized, I am, because I haven't really thought out a look. I'm kind of winging it, and we'll see what we come up with. So this is the shade Stay Up Late. Yeah, this is the shade I want. So this is a nice, pretty, just a gold. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. Just a gold. I'm going to put this all over my brow bone very generously. Okay. More shimmery and chunky than I expected, but that is okay. And I'm going to go just underneath my eyebrow. I'm going to go all the way from inward to outward. Okay. A little bit more chunky than I expected. Now, a lot more chunky than I expected. Well, shit. Okay. Honestly, not what I was expecting. So actually, I'm going to go in with one of the other colors to beef this one up. So I'll just go over really quick with this one. But I'm going to go back in with another shade over top and just beef this one up, because this is not what I had in mind. I wanted something a little more, yeah, a little more opaque. I didn't expect it to be so sheer. See, this is what I don't like about swatches, because you pick it up on your finger and all the natural oils on your finger pick up the shade. And then you use a fucking eyeshadow brush that doesn't have natural oils on it. And you apply it to your eyeshadow, or excuse me, you apply it to your eyelid, which has all the moisture sucked out of it because of powder or primers, and it doesn't apply the same. See, this is why I've never been a fan of swatch videos, because it's just never an accurate representation of what the eyeshadow actually is on your eyeballs. So I love it when people do eyeshadow swatch videos. This could be a lot worse, but it's just not what I had in mind. So we will go ahead and go in with, might as well just go in with Elm Street. Why not? I have a feeling that one's probably going to be more the texture I was looking for. But this is also my first time using Kylie eyeshadows, so I don't know if this is just typical for her formulation. Okay, so I'm just gonna, just to beef up the other color, because these are both kind of like this sheer shimmer, not a opaque shimmer, which is not bad. It's just not what I had in mind, but I guess that's actually probably better for the brow bone, so it'll be easier to blend out. Okay, so there's that. Not what I had in mind, but we're just getting started. Let me grab another little medium shader. This one's more of a flat panel shader. And I want to take the shade Come to Freddy. So by the way, this was Stay Up Late. This one is Elm Street. Now we're going to use Come to Freddy. This is a red, I'm hoping a red shimmer shade. And I hope it has some opacity to it. If not, we'll just have to, once again, lay down other colors to beef each other up. So I'm just picking up the shade. I'm tapping that off. Ooh, a lot of fallout. What's this look like? I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. Okay. Not what I was expecting. This is so sheer, so I'm not even going to continue with that color. I'm going to come back to it, and we'll use Bad Dream. Now, I get the impression Kylie Jenner's makeup is not really about deep opacity when it comes to eyeshadow. It is more about, I think, more sheer, not subtle looks, but there we go. Okay, this one I like. Okay, not what I had in mind, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and just apply this all over the lid. Just all the way over the lid to the crease. Okay. This one I like. Yeah, so the impression I'm getting from this palette is this is not, even though it's a Nightmare on Elm Street, this is not like one of those brands where they want a ton of like really thick opacity. So a little different than what I was expecting, but that is totally okay. Okay, and I'm just packing this shade all over my lid. Okay, this one I'm liking a lot better. It's a matte shade, and that'll be a nice foundation for these other shades. So this will work out. First I was pissed because I had a different vision, but this will work because this will just give a nice foundation to the more sheer glitter shades. Okay, this I actually like now. Now that I've gotten over the initial annoyance that this wasn't working the way I wanted to, because I'm not familiar with the formulation, this is okay. All right, let's go ahead and add it to the other lid right quick. Bad Dream. So if it gets on my lower lash line a little bit, that's okay, because I'm gonna go in with a darker color later and we can clean that up, so it's no big deal. It might be just a trick of the lighting, but it's also because I had a little bit of this shade on the other lid, but the colors look different on each eyelid, which is weird to me. So I think it's just because this eyelid had a little bit of an other shade, and that just might be playing tricks. Okay, so this will work. I can make this work. Do I need to go in with my finger on this motherfucker? Okay, I'm gonna try Come to Freddy with my finger because, there we go. That's how you work with this one. In the pan, it looks like just a regular eyeshadow. They could go in with your finger, or excuse me, that you could go in with a brush, but when I go in with a brush, it becomes so sheer that it doesn't show up the way I want it to. So I'm just taking my finger and literally rubbing it on. Not my favorite way to apply eyeshadow, I'm not gonna lie. Personally, when it comes to eyeshadow, I like to use an eyeshadow brush, so I get why some people might not like this formula, but it does look quite pretty. I do like that now that I'm applying it with my finger, it's showing up on my lid the way it looks in the pan. So I like that. Just a little bit of a learning curve. Again, they do call a lot of these pressed pigment palettes. You know, they call these pressed pigments. They don't call them eyeshadows, so you don't go in with a regular eyeshadow brush like you normally would. Okay, now I'm actually starting to like what's happening here. It was just a little bit of a learning curve. And I'm literally smoothing it onto my lid, not tapping it on, but okay, this I like. So now I have a red finger. I'm just taking a little makeup eraser, and yeah, it's staining my finger a little bit, so that's those red pigments for you. I'm gonna have fun getting this off my eyes tonight. And I'm gonna go to Springwood High, and this one has a really grainy, glittery texture, so I already knew going in that this one I would have to use with my finger. And I'm going to go, let me check this. Okay, I'm just gonna apply this, yeah. I'm applying this from the middle outward, just deepening that color. Okay, from the middle outward, deepening the color. And yeah, ton of fallout. That's why you're supposed to do your eyes first before you do all your foundation and stuff. But like I said, I just feel like my looks always turn out better. I don't mind doing some cleanup if it means I'll get a better look. Okay, so not gonna lie, these shadows require a bit more work than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting your run-of-the-mill, put your eyeshadow brush in and create your look. This one, you gotta literally get your fingers dirty a little to work the product. Not necessarily a bad thing, but if you don't play with a lot of makeup and you're sticking your brush in, it's just becoming sheer glitter flying everywhere, and that can be really frustrating. Not the most expensive eyeshadow palette, but also not the cheapest. So, something to keep in mind. Okay, we're still working. We're not done here. The hardest part was laying down the reds. But I'm glad we did it. So, now I'm gonna take Dream Demon. And that is this really dark matte red. And I'm hoping I can just use an eyeshadow brush with this one. I hope I don't have to use my finger with this one. No, I'm sure it's fine. So I'm taking Dream Demon, and I'm going right underneath my eye. Really thick, really heavy. Oh yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, okay, this is exactly what I want. I'm happy. And really, really thick, as you can see, underneath my eye. And I'm gonna bring that out. How far out am I bringing? I'm gonna bring it really far out. Yeah, okay. This one I'm liking. I can build this color. It's looking kind of purple on my skin tone. Looks nice and dark maroon in the pan, but on me it's looking kind of purple, but that's okay. It's still within the color story. Okay, and I'm gonna bring this in. I'm gonna bring it into my crease. Yeah, this is what I want. Bring this into the crease, blending that out. And I don't want to go all the way into the corner, just kind of stopping about 3/4 of the way. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I want. Okay, we're going to turn this look into something. This is not going to be a disappointing look. I had my doubts for a moment. I'm not even going to lie. I'm like, okay, is this my first time using makeup? It's one of those, you know, sometimes you start playing with something and the look is just not turning out the way you want, and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna have a face full of garbage. But no, now I'm liking this. Now this is turning into something I like. We'll start blending out, we'll start cleaning stuff up, we'll start adding detail. Okay, now I'm actually getting excited, guys. Now I'm actually starting to have fun. Before I was just like frustrated. Okay, this I'm happy with. This I'm really liking now. I like it when I can just go in with a makeup brush and create the look I want. So many eyeshadows now are coming out with these formulations that if you do not use your fingers, they don't work. And I don't want to be old-fashioned, you know, I want to be open to the new stuff, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, sorry, I'm pulling out another mirror because the mirror I have to look down, and that changes, obviously, the placement of my makeup, so I want to be able to look straight ahead. So I've got my little mini mirror here that I'm cheating with so I can make sure that I'm getting the placement where I want it. So I want to bring it up above, in my case, I want to bring it up above my natural crease. I don't just want to go straight into the crease. I need to bring it up just a little to blend that out. Okay. And this is always a common problem with me. Like eyeshadow won't grab right in the corner there, but we'll go in with, yeah, we have one more deeper color that we can use to kind of fix that, to bring that dimension in. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking for a moment and we'll speed this up. Okay, so the trick with any eyeshadow look is always blend, 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 blend. Like, if you think you haven't blended enough, keep blending. And this is just kind of what we have to do right now. So I'm gonna go back in with, we'll actually go back into Elm Street. And I just want to put some of that color back in, and I'm actually going to stick with the sheer approach. And we're just going to go right into where these two shades meet, and we're just going to blend that. Okay, now I'm starting to like this. This is turning into something that I didn't think was going to be possible. Now I'm happy. At first I was like, oh shoot, what'd I do? And now I'm really liking it. Now it's becoming a fun shade, fun look. Okay, so let's do this side. And that is blending nicely into each other, so I'm happy about that. It's blending really nicely into each other, perfect. I'm a lot happier about that now. Okay, I'm just noticing some small things that I want to go in and clean up a little. So I'm just going to work on that for a second. Okay, so now I'm going in with a smaller pointer brush. I'm going to take this shade, Gonna Getcha. I actually kind of love that name. This is that really dark, really deep forest green, matte forest green, and I'm really just picking up a ton of product. Also experiencing a ton of fallout. I usually don't blow on palettes, but the fallout on this is so bad I kind of have to. So I'm just putting that right in the outer crease right there, and I'm just making a little V. Right, bring it along my upper lash line just a little, and then on the outer lash line just a little. Yeah, that's what I want. And then we'll blend that out. Probably take a clean brush to blend that out just a little. Yeah, just to add a little bit of depth to break up all the red and the pink. Yeah, that I actually really like that. I'm just gonna take a clean fluff brush and just blend that out a little. Okay, turning out a lot better than I expected. Still want to clean up this under eye area, obviously a little. I wanted it thick, but let's go ahead and just go in with a little makeup sponge and just run it through. Now I've constantly experienced fallout, major fallout with this eyeshadow. Like, even as I'm just blending my eyeshadow, constantly the glitter is falling down onto my cheeks. So I'm going to go ahead and take Come to Freddy, and I'm gonna freshen up just the glitter on the middle of the lid. There we go. There we go. That brought life back into the look, right? So it's not just a blended out muddy mess. Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm really starting to like this look. I think it's very Halloween-y, very goth, very loud. Now we could still keep blending out the darker corners here. Sometimes it's like that with makeup, like some stuff, sometimes you gotta blend for like 5 minutes to get it to settle in with the other shades. I don't mind the occasional hard line, to be honest. So I'm debating if it's worth messing with anymore, if I should just go ahead and leave that. I'm going to go ahead and just leave it. I don't want to be a perfectionist because then we'll be here all day. And we still have the rest of my face to do, which won't take nearly as long. So I'm going to go ahead and just take, what do we want to do? Bump, bump, bump. Did I bring eyeliner? I did. So I think it's pretty obvious for this look. I think most of you would agree that we could just go with black eyeliner. Of course, ooh, a maroon might be a fun way to switch it up, or a deep brown. But I think black is appropriate for this look. I am keeping the very thick lines under my eyes. Dealing with a lot of glitter fallout, as I mentioned before, it's a little frustrating. But it does say it's a pressed pigment palette. It doesn't say it's an eyeshadow palette. So always keep that in mind with all these brands nowadays playing that game. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll do the eyeliner, we'll do the lashes, and then we'll do final cleanup on the eye area, and then we'll move on to the rest. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just taking the Natasha Denona Macro Tech Eye Crayon in black. And this one's great for wearing on the waterline. Okay, I'm just taking because I can't get this pencil sharpened right at the moment, I'm just taking a small detail brush, and I'm just gonna create a line across my upper lash line, and then we'll blend that out. So right on the lash line. I was going to use just part of the lashes, like do a partial lash look, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use the full strip. I think that's just gonna be better overall. So we will do that. So let's pull out the lashes and the lash glue. So this is Slashes, or false lashes, and it's a very interesting, they're kind of sparse, kind of clumpy. So I think that'll be interesting. I usually like very full, dramatic lashes, but let's give these a try. And I am going to be using the Dark Tone Duo eyelash adhesive. So that's the eyelash glue that comes out dark, dries black. So that'll help give me that, also a lash line, so I don't really need to go in heavy with eyeliner. All right, I'm gonna do editing magic for the eyelashes. Okay, before we get into lash look, I forgot these lashes do actually come off in clumps. As you see them, they come off in different little sections. So I'm not going to sit here and apply each one individually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a clump and place them on the end of my natural lashes to get that extra. So we'll try that. Okay, so I do not have the patience. I forgot that these actually are clumps and not strips. So they are little individual chunks. So what I did is I took the outer two on each and put both of the outer two on both of my lids. I struggled on this one a little, and unfortunately it gives the effect that I have like no lashes right here. So hopefully it'll look a little better once I put mascara on. I am going to go ahead and go in with a little bit of eyeliner. Sorry, I'm looking for the lid to my glue. I am going to go in with a little bit of eyeliner. We're going to go ahead and use Natasha Denona's, what is this called? Work and Set. Natasha Denona Work and Set. I'm going to take a very thin pencil brush, liner brush, and just going to pick up some of that color, and we're just going to draw a really thin line on top. Again, I'm trying to avoid doing a wing because this makeup's already so dramatic, but I really just want to add a little bit of definition. All right, mascara, and then we can finally move on to the rest of my face. Goodness gracious, we are finally done with this eye look. So, going to refresh my foundation. We're going to clean up under the eyes a little, and then we're finally going to do the rest of my face. All right, we're finally moving on to what is actually my favorite product in this, just because I think it's a fun format. So this is the Kylie, A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the lip and cheek jelly stain. So I'm gonna use it on the cheeks, and comes in a little pot like this. You open it up and it is this jelly texture. And the way I found it works best is to use a stippling brush. This is the e.l.f. small stipple brush. Perfect. So this is just, I believe this is like $3. So clean brush, I'm going to dip it into the product and I'm going to wipe that off because that is a ton that I just picked up. So you only need a little bit. So I'm wiping off all that excess. And then I take the lid and I swirl it around in the lid, work the product into the brush, and then I just apply it with the stippling brush like that. As you can see, it's a ton of product. And then I just take a makeup sponge and I blend that out. Gorgeous. I love that. Nice flush of color. I'm going to bring it all the way up my brow bone. I think that's really pretty. And you can build the color up. Like here you can see it's already staining my skin. So if you don't work quick, it will stain, but that's okay. You can blend it out. You can sheer it out with foundation. You can bring down the shine with powder. It's not a big deal. It's, you know, just another medium for makeup artistry. I'm gonna put a little more here. Let it sit for a second, and then blend that out. And there it is. I like it. And I like to bring it up into my brow bone. That way the blush isn't as obvious. That way it's not just a line. That way it blends more into the rest of my makeup look. I better watch out. I don't want to stain my hair, but like I said, we'll clean up my hairline at the end. I like it. A lot of people have not liked this product. I really enjoy it. Just a little goes a long way. Use a stipple brush and then you can blend it out with your fingers. I highly recommend using a makeup sponge because it will stain your skin. So if you use your fingers, you'll have stained fingers. Okay, I'm just looking with my little makeup mirror here. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and powder the rest of my face. We'll do a little bit of highlighting and contouring because goodness knows I need it. So I'm going to start with, what am I going to use? Let's start with, I'm going to use the yellow. This is the, I'm sure many of you have this, the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro Palette. It's a nice cheap staple to have in your collection. So I'm actually just going to take the yellow powder here, the banana powder, I guess you could say. And I'm going to put that, where am I putting that? I'm going to put it down the bridge of my nose because I don't really want highlight. I don't want like shiny highlight with it. So I'm just bringing it down the bridge of my nose, top of my lip, a little bit on my chin. I've got enough shine on my forehead, so I'm not going to put any on my forehead. And there we go. And then I'm going to take, which one? This one? Or is that too small? How about this one? This might be a little too big. Too big, too small. I'm going to take the taupey shade here. As you can see, it's well loved, well used. I'm going to take the taupey shade and I'm going to bring that right into the hollow of my face. Then you can always just take a clean brush. I'm deciding which brush to use. I don't have many left. We'll just take this one randomly. This one? Yeah, it's fine. And I'm just taking a clean brush just to soften out the edges, soften the contours. I want to go ahead and powder my entire face, just a light powder. Debating if I want to use this one since I've used it so much for fallout. No, we got it. It's fine. We'll use this big fluffy brush. And again, I'm taking Glow Down from Ellis Foss. This is in the shade Medium. And it's just a pressed powder. I don't really have much of lip liner in my collection right now, so that's something I need to work on building up again, lip liners, because they really do help make a lip look more polished and add depth, and I just simply do not have really any lip liners in my collection right now, except for maybe like a red, and I wanted to use the more neutral of the shades they have here. So there's 3 shades of lip lacquers. And I want to use this more nudie one. Yeah, I think that's a good one to go with all of these. So let's use this one. And this is the look. It took a long time to get here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Oh, we are not done. We are not done. Setting spray because now I'm all powdery looking. We want to put some life back into my skin. So I'm using this Morphe Sour Patch Kids Watermelon Slice continuous setting mist. I see why people like this. It's a very fine mist. It smells nice. It smells like watermelon slice. And this is a great way to really set all your makeup, put a little bit more life into your skin again so it doesn't look so dry and powdery, and it's not overly wet, so it doesn't get too wet. All right, now that completes the look. All right, I'm gonna list everything I used in the video today in the description box down below. I'll list everything in order, so if you're like, what is she using? What is that? I will have it down there below. If you choose to click on any of the links, that really helps me out. I appreciate it. Thank you. If not, that's fine too. Just thanks for stopping by. Thumbs up the video, that helps. Leave comments. I love it when you guys interact with me. And let me know if you got anything from this collection. And yeah, if you like A Nightmare on Elm Street. We didn't get to talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street at all because I was so busy making this makeup look, but big fan of horror movies, love Nightmare on Elm Street. I thought Freddy was very scary when I was a child. Now it's, you know, one of my favorite supernatural killers. So I hope you're seeing this before Halloween. I hope this inspired you in some way. And if you have any questions, comments, go ahead and leave them down below and I'll get back to you. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram @HeatheringKing. And I'll see you guys in the next video.